All right, go ahead, Joe.
Hi, welcome back to Rate That Album in a Convenience Over a Podcast Store. Uh, this is kind of a special episode.
Yeah.
Going back to our Twin Peaks. David Lynch, my personal favorite filmmaker, probably up there for Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Has
Yeah.
died at the age of 78.
Yeah. Yeah, this was my favorite filmmaker. I don't think it helped that what album we were gonna do.
We are just a heads up. We are working on getting these. We have been recording reviews. They'll be so we're not gonna spoil the album.
No.
Well, when that review comes out, you'll understand.
Yeah. You'll understand when that review comes out.
But David Lynch. Paul and I's podcasting thing started.
Mm-hmm. Because of Twin Peaks and our love of David Lynch.
Yeah.
We've told the story a lot. You and I met. We went to high school and actually fucking elementary school together, third grade.
We've been we've known each other for like almost 40 years.
Yeah, we have, Joe. Yeah, we have. It's closer to the 40 than it's not. Yeah, we had lost touch after high school. For the most part, I mean, we worked in the mall together in our hometown and a few other things, but
we chat on Facebook now and then.
Yeah, but where you and I really our friendship, I think, really cemented was when we were at the Twin Peaks book signing.
Yeah, Mark Frost signing Secret History. It was an exciting time. Twin Peaks was coming back against all odds.
All odds.
After more than 25 years. Yeah.
I guess, Joe, we've talked about it over the years and over the podcast and things like that, but I think I'll let you, when we both found Lynch early with Twin Peaks, but after Twin Peaks, kind of how and where did your love of Lynch develop?
It was touch and go. Like I really love Twin Peaks, but it wasn't till later on. Like, I had seen Firewalk with me, and I think I was just too young to really get what was going on with that. I think for a lot of people, everyone was expecting Twin Peaks. I think we talked about that. The podcast, we did that 2-3 years ago. So sorry. But for me, it was, I saw Lost Highway. I didn't understand that either. But for me, it really gelled. And an off chance I watched Mulholland Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy of mine rented it, and he was lost. I was getting it, I was just kind of taking it in. I wasn't trying to follow it linearly, just where my headspace was. It was kind of perfect timing for that.
Yep.
And then Twin Peaks comes back out on DVD, and I rediscovered that, and then The Return, and around The Return is probably when I really started delving deeper. And after The Return, that's when I was nervous to watch Eraserhead. Because I figured maybe if I don't want to feel like an idiot and not get it. But once I saw it, I was like, I totally kind of for me, my interpretation makes sense.
Yep.
It's a guy who's dealing with a world gone mad while also fears of being a father for the first time.
That's how I took it. I took it as this was a fear of being a father. Yeah. And kind of that, the male, kind of disconnect that I think, that a males have with the child versus the connection that the mother has. That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, and if you read that biography, Room to Dream, it's not far off, especially where he was in life. He had just had his first child, and yeah, so it kind of jumped. But yeah, it was after The Return. The Return really got me into Lynch mode hardcore. It was easy, especially by then. It was easier to get his movies.
Mm-hmm.
The longest time to get Eraserhead, you had to go to his website, and it was kind of expensive on there.
Yeah.
Wild at Heart was not easy to find. Like, you could find Blue Velvet. Forget Straight Story. I don't.
Oh God,
it's still kind of not easy to find.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I still haven't seen Straight Story.
Straight Story is amazing in that it's so. It's like it's weird. It's weird that it's like kind of like how It's like Mulholland. If you take Straight Story and Mulholland Drive, they're kind of like the polar opposites you experience with Twin Peaks.
Nice.
There's wholesomeness, that Straight Story, and complications. Then you get the really bizarre surrealism. It's Mulholland Drive. It's Straight Story is really, I love it. Like, I thought I wasn't sure because it's a Disney movie. Yes, people, David Lynch made a Disney movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Guy who gave us Dennis Hopper huffing whatever the hell's in that gas mask.
Right. I still think it's nitrous.
I think it's nitrous too. He's like, fuck Heineken, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
That guy also gave us one of the most heartwarming stories of the late 90s, early 2000s with the Straight Story. But it took me a while I always had respected him. Twin Peaks changed my life.
Yeah.
100%. It made me see art differently as a kid. Like, you didn't have to be within the boundaries of the coloring book. You can go past it, especially with the Red Room shit. So it took me a while, but now it's just I'm gonna be binging Lynch here for a while. How about you, Paul? What's your journey with David Lynch? I know you were way earlier than I was.
Yeah. So, Twin Peaks, obviously. And because, if you remember, my mom, once the Maddie was murdered, I know, spoiler, 20-some year spoiler.
I think we're at almost 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years spoiler, people. God, we are. Fuck.
35 years, Paul.
35 years spoiler. Jesus. See, this is why I don't age in my head.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It was Leland.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was. So I couldn't finish Twin Peaks, and we've talked about that, where a mutual friend of ours gave me a really odd version of what happened in the show, and we both wish we lived in that.
I would love to see that version.
Right, I would have loved to have seen that version too.
You described that to me, and I was just like, Jesus.
Yeah, it just goes to show just how off he was even then. But then I discovered Dune, because I was looking for more Lynch at that time. My mom, when it came to movies and things like that, like I had it, my parents were just never on the same fucking page on anything really growing up. So like my dad, like my mom would be working nights, and so on the weekends, like my dad didn't want me watching anything with sex, but all the violence. So I'm watching Predator, Commando, fucking Death Wish, all these fucking movies. And then my dad would be out of town for work. My mom was like, I don't like violence, but I don't mind don't mind sex. My mom would rent like these, what she wouldn't realize were like these erotic thrillers. With like Shannon Tweed.
So you saw Basic Instinct at a ripe young age.
Right. Like I'm watching, like I knew who Shannon Tweed was by the time I was 7 years old. So yeah, and I had kind of all that thing there. And then I fell in love with the cult classic section, because truth be told, there's always boobies cult classic movies.
Bro, like 99% of the time, that's true.
Yes. And, again, it didn't bother my mom so much, so like, and in the cult classic sections, of course, was David Lynch's Dune. And I put two and two together. Hey, that's the Twin Peaks guy. And I watched Dune. And I really, even though that's a flawed version of it, I really, really actually enjoyed Dune. Unironically, I love that version of Dune.
There's a charm to it. Like I hadn't seen it until like I think I bought it last year because like I went out, like I was on a mission the last few years to own every David Lynch movie.
Mm-hmm.
I have them all. I don't have all the short films, but eventually. So I saw Dune for the first time, and there's so much for how flawed it was for him.
Yep.
It really helped him develop because you'll see when you watch Dune, he's taking things that he was playing with, like Eraserhead and Elephant Man, and he kicks it up with Dune to what we would get with Twin Peaks.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot there, there's a lot there. And again,
that's the Baron Harkonnen I recognize. Fuck you, Dennis Vanula.
Kind of. Yeah, I mean, he is. I'm sorry, that is a better Harkonnen. It really is. Again, I like the new Dune. I love the new. Anything Dune I love, but
it did the Baron dirty.
They did the Baron dirty. They really did the Baron dirty. I believe we had to watch Elephant Man for class. Was it social studies or what the fuck was it? But I had watched
wasn't it?
Yes, it was either high school or middle school. I think it was middle school with that weird guy that we had that was obsessed with Veruca Salt.
Yeah, I don't think I had to. I didn't see movies in class until high school, and it was like a film studies class. We didn't watch Elephant Man, but we did watch Shawshank Redemption for some reason.
Okay.
Which is, but everybody had seen it, like, even back then, like, it was like a year out. We'd all seen it like a million times because somehow it was on TV all the time, like, out of the gate.
Yeah, and no, because I also remember I had to watch, like, Romeo, the original, like, the 1960s Romeo.
I had to watch that in, like, a literature class.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's what it was. I wonder if Elephant Man was a literature. Maybe.
I think, it's a classic, like, that script became like a stage play and shit. Like what Lynch did with that, it became like a phenomenon that I don't think many people recognize. Like stage adaptations were made from his version of Elephant Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. It really is. It's a great movie.
It's probably his most straightforward if you think about it, except for Straight Story.
I haven't seen Straight Story, but yeah, Elephant Man's a very easy movie to follow. It's a very easy movie to follow. Then, of course, in the cult classics section is Blue Velvet. Right?
You watch that with your mom?
No. See, when I got these things, so I joke. We talked a little bit about this. I had some friends over, and like I had rented Flush Gordon because it was in the
not Flash Gordon.
I know my mom.
Not with the Queen soundtrack. You're talking Flush Gordon.
I'm talking Flesh Gordon. I'm talking the porn parody. Yes, sir. It was.
You there, Paul? You there, Paul? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Man. I'm not sure what's happening here.
Oh, there you are.
I got my mic. My mic. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
It just blacked out. It's fine. Very Lynchian thing to happen.
Yeah, right. It's Lynch's thing here. But yeah, so I had
Flesh Gordon. Flesh Gordon is what we're talking about.
Yes. Flesh Gordon. And then, so I mean, and Blue Velvet was in that cult classic section. So I eventually saw that. and my sister had rented Wild at Heart, which is also, it's weird, but it's also, I would consider that one more straightforward. Like, that's not a hard one to follow along with either. I felt like,
I think Wild at Heart was, it kind of set the tone for 90s movies, and I don't think it gets the credit because you watch Wild at Heart, you can see where Tarantino picks up a lot of his stuff for like Pulp Fiction out of that.
oh hell yeah.
Like the first time I saw that, I was like, yeah, Tarantino is really like,
yeah. I think Pulp Fiction, I think Natural Born Killers.
Yep.
Yes, I think it absolutely set the tone. And when you think about it, you had Willem Dafoe, you had Laura Dern, you had Nick Cage, you had Crispin fucking Glover, who's fucking batshit. Yeah. It had everyone. It was a great movie. And of course it had a lot of David Lynch's, Cheryl Lee, I believe, was in that one. Jack Nance was in that one.
Sherilyn Fenn was in it.
Okay, yep, Sherilyn Fenn. And Grace Zabriskie was in it.
Yeah, a lot of Twin Peaks people showed up for it. It was pretty, yeah.
Oh yeah, Stanton was in it. Harry Dean Stanton. I'm not going to forget Harry Dean Stanton.
Good old Carl.
Good old Carl. So yeah, and then of course Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me came out, and then Lost Highway came out at a point where I could go to the movie theater. And I went to the movie theater for Lost Highway. And Lost Highway, I was obsessed with, to be honest with you, because I really loved the duality, the time, the transition of how Belshazzar, Getty, and Bill Pullman were like the same character, but they weren't. It was just really, really good, and like the whole the soundtrack. I was obsessed with that soundtrack. That's one of the besides The Crow, that's my second favorite soundtrack of all time is Lost Highway.
You got Bowie, you got Inch Nails, you got Smashing Pumpkins, you got Rammstein, you got Angelo Badalamenti on there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you for better or worse, you had Marilyn Manson in there. You had Lou Reed in there.
Yep.
And actually, The Perfect Drug is one of my favorite Nine Inch Nails songs. It's just so fucking good.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's where Trent Reznor got a love for soundtracks, was Lost Highway.
Well, he did Natural Born Killers one before.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. That guy's just a fucking powerhouse, dude.
Well, he won an Academy Award for scoring a movie about Facebook.
Yeah, and he also got a country Grammy, so he's got that going for him. But yeah, so and the problem with Lynch is, I've never met someone who's like, I can take or leave Lynch, right? Like either you really enjoy it or you hate it. And I had a lot of friends that just didn't understand kind of what Lynch was doing and the cinematography and like the things that he's getting into. And then again, you had Mulholland Drive, and then I felt like Inland Empire still feels like a new movie to me.
Yeah.
It really does.
And it's his best feature film too.
Yeah, it's his last one. It's the last one he did.
That's like, man, 2006.
Yeah, 2006, dude.
We're almost 20 years since he directed a feature length. I'll kind of consider The Return.
Yeah,
an 18-hour movie.
The Return is an 18-hour movie, 100%. And he went for broke in that one. And was it you that told me he almost died making that?
Yeah, his health took a. I mean, he was getting old, and
yeah, he was
trying to keep up. We're doing an 18-hour long movie. Doing a 2-hour movie's exhausting, and fuck, he's doing it for Showtime, and it's like they're thinking TV, and he's obviously approaching it like a film.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it took a lot out of him. It seemed like, yeah. That's it in that book. Like it almost killed him. Like, he just at times he almost felt like quitting, I think.
Well, yeah, and then you had several people who died between the filming, during filming, release. I mean,
Yeah.
it was, yeah. So yeah, for me, it's like I've always kind of had this profound love of Lynch. I think that, yeah, the only thing I haven't seen of him was the straight story. I've actually a guy I worked with at Target who was a big kind of music and movie nerd like you and I were. He actually had On the Air
Yeah.
and got it for me. Yeah.
I haven't seen On the Air, and I haven't seen Hotel Room.
Yeah, I haven't seen Hotel Room. You're right. I haven't seen Hotel Room, but I've seen On the Air.
I was On the Air. It was because that was Lynch and Frost again.
It was, and it's only a few episodes. It's like I think only 4 aired.
I'd like to see a reissue eventually. I mean, hopefully they'll release some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think they made 7, but only 4 aired, and he only had the 4 because he had him on tape or on VHS and had that converted to DVD, and then got me a thumb drive with it. And I mean, it's terrible because it was taped on a VHS on TV, then converted to DVD, then put on digital, and then there's just a lot of problems with it. But it's funny. It's a weird kind of funny. It's very different. It's very different than Twin Peaks. It's a lot more like almost situational comedy, but like Lynchian, and that's the best way I can describe it. It's like Lynch. There's always like just things are always going wrong, and that's where the humor is. So yeah, like people are misunderstanding things. Shit's not going right, and like one of the soundboards gets all fucked up. Oh, dude, it's great. But again, it's a really shitty thing of it. And and again, I've switched so many computers, I don't even have it anymore. And because I always just assumed it, just like you said, there should be a re-release of it. So yeah, I think. And then musically, Lynch got just fucking unbelievable. Right.
He released an album with Krista Bell last year too.
Last year. Yeah. And he, there was the obviously, Dark Night of the Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
So good.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, he did he yeah. So it's just one of those things where I don't know. Lynch has always just kind of been in the background for me. And I will admit, Dune is still like I know this sounds super weird, but it's like a chicken noodle to soup movie for me. Where like because I know everything that happens in it, like it's my comfort movie. And I know that sounds fucking bizarre, but
yeah, well, no, dude, I get it. Like the pilot of Twin Peaks is like a comfort show.
Yes, exactly. Not the rest of it so much when Bob starts showing up, because I still get freaked out. Yeah. But that's just the little kid in me that's still scarred from all that. But yes, I've seen and now and a little bit of like I got myself I actually have it here and I can on my computer. Give me 1 second. It is. I have the Fire Walk With Me extended Blue Rose cut. That's a fan edit, and that is 3 hours 15 minutes long.
And that includes that's like mashing up the missing pieces.
Correct. Yep. That's mashing up the missing pieces, and it actually is like it makes it coherent.
Well, it's as coherent as a Lynch project's gonna get.
As a Lynch project's going to get, yes. So yeah, I don't know, like this one hit really hard, And it's like Lynch has had like just a massive influence on just, again, the way I view movies, the way I view art, the way I view music. And again, it's one of those things where I don't have a lot of people that I relate with when it comes to Lynch, because Lynch, I think, really, really, really is an acquired taste. And either you get it or you don't. And it's fine if you don't get it. It's not like, I'm not being pretentious when you say that. Either you enjoy what he's putting out there, or you just, this is not my scene. He's just very polarizing like that.
Yeah, if it's, because he's so surreal and very esoteric, and so it's I understand why people don't get into him. I love it is just crazy. I'm looking through his filmography and how different each project is. Jumping one from the next. We're going Eraserhead to Elephant Man to Dune.
Yep.
Blue Velvet to Wild at Heart to Fire Walk with Me to Lost Highway.
Right.
Oh, then we're going to take a turn to The Straight Story about a guy driving a tractor from Iowa to Wisconsin.
Yep.
Hey, bam, Mulholland Drive.
And then
bam, Inland Empire.
Inland Empire. Oh, by the way, we're going to do some exhibitions. Oh, by the way, we're going to put out some music. Oh, by the way, I'm going to do some music videos. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, by the way, I have some art. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, it's this was a rough run. Yeah.
This hit hard. It's just, he's my favorite filmmaker. It's just something about his movies that just resonate with me. Even his music resonates with me. It's just, I can watch videos of him being interviewed for hours. Mm-hmm. He just fascinates me.
Mm-hmm. And he had that that YouTube channel.
Yeah, you did the weather report.
He did the weather report, and it was just him being like the nicest guy. Like, hey, which, yeah, and him in interviews was infuriating yet amazing.
Yeah.
He
never wanted to just, people want to dig into his art and he didn't want to talk about it, which I love. But then you get him on other topics, like the video of him talking about meeting George Lucas.
Yes.
Because George Lucas wanted him to direct Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hilarious. He's like, George brings me to his office and he's showing me these things called Wookiees. And he's like, I'm not going to. I have no interest in this.
Yeah, dude. Yep. There's something about him, and then again, like people ask him to elaborate on something. No, like,
and, that's the infamous. He said Eraserhead was his most spiritual film. The guy's like, "Can you elaborate on that?" And he's like, "No." He generally wanted you to interpret his movies the way you want to interpret them.
Yes, and I know that frustrated. Like, again, I have a friend of mine that's like, actually will go back to that, and it's like, that's like, that really pissed me off, because I really wanted to understand, and it's like, but he didn't want to tell you what. It's kind of like, it's the approach I take with the music and a lot of things that I do. It's I put it out there. I have my idea, but I don't want what I'm understanding that when I'm putting it out there, I put it in a way that I hopefully has a lot of different meanings for a lot of different people. And as a creator of that, I've had people ask me like, "Oh, what was that song about? Oh, what was that about? What does it mean to you? Like, what do you want it to mean?" Like, and it's just, I think there's something really awesome about that, because you do hear these things where people oh, I love this song, and then you hear the artist is like, well, yeah, the song gets played at a lot of weddings, but you know what it's actually about.
Yeah. No, there's a charm to it. It's just like interpret it the way you want. Like he obviously had what he was thinking in his mind, and he didn't want to share that with us, and that's awesome.
Yep.
Because it makes it a little more personal, right? Then we interpret it the way we want to, and we might be right, we might be wrong. Who knows?
Right.
I love that. But the best part about the Lynch movies is it's the experience, right?
It is.
You're along for the ride. Like that's what he was like when the return's about to come out, and he's like, "Don't look at the donut, not the hole."
Yep.
Right? Everybody's going to be looking for like the answers, and it's like, no, it's
yeah. Don't look for the answer because you're not going to enjoy it. Like you and I have talked about it, right? Mulholland Drive has one of the scariest scenes.
Oh yeah,
ever.
Oh, Winky's Diner.
Yeah, dude. It's terrifying. That is terrifying. And I still remember the first time I fucking saw it, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Dude, I saw that when I was like 22, and it freaked me out, man.
Right.
And it's like, there's really nothing to be that scared about, but the way he's raising the tension, the guy's describing his dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they're walking behind and it's just the music and how Lynch is filming it. And then you just, for very briefly, you see the weird woman, and it's just fucking terrifying.
Yep.
And like, here's the thing, like I watch horror movies all the time, and jump scare. That's probably the scariest jump scare I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And it's not even a jump scare because he just appears.
Yeah, it's not. A jump scare isn't the right thing, but yes, exactly. I mean, there's It's terrifying.
Last year, I was on a social media app called Threads, and I posted it, and I kind of picked up Tread because I feel it's true. Let me pull this up. All right. So I posted this last year. I watch horror movies for fun entertainment. I watch David Lynch films to be terrified.
Yes. Joe, I love that. I love that because it's the thing is he's not making horror, but they might as well be. Lost Highway might as well.
Scariest movies. Lost Highway is fucking scary, man.
Dude, I was in the theater for that, and it's terrifying.
Dude, Inland Empire.
Yeah.
Even though like the funniest scene in that movie for me is still terrifying. The scene where Laura Dern's in that house, and all of a sudden all those women are dancing to the locomotion, and then they vanish. Like that's creepy.
It's creepy.
Being hilarious at the same time. Like what the fuck? They're dancing to the locomotion.
And the thing with Lynch was, and we talked about this when we did our podcast above a convenience store, where the way he holds beats and holds scenes as a director. Yeah. He because everything is mathematical and like everything, there's a formula. And Lynch will hold. Like there was a particular scene where like the Green Onions scene, right? Where it's just holding on that. Yeah, it's funny, but at the same time, like I'm expecting something and I'm getting this dread because it's going on too long. And there was a couple other scenes in there too where it's just holding like on a door or on a hallway, and like I'm just waiting for something to happen. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it goes, I'm like, huh. And then like, fucking Matthew Lillard gets his goddamn head blown up.
He makes the weird thing is like he makes the mundane frightening too. And like think about like in Twin Peaks, that ceiling fan in the Palmer house.
Oh, terrifying.
You connect that with Bob because it's there's something terrifying up there, and this entity is in the house. Like but it's just at the end of the day, it's just a ceiling fan, right?
Right.
But he makes it. He draws that out, and he puts it in slow motion, and you hear that boom, boom, boom. The audio of that is just.
Yep. And
he could make like a Twinkie terrifying. I swear to God.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh Joe, 100%. Yeah. And it's and it was. The other thing too is like is just like the shot of the bedroom, right, where Bob's there, and like the scene where it's just like the living room and it's nothing that whatever, and then Bob comes over the couch Joe, that has
I
stuck
still have
with
nightmares of that, Paul.
me. Right.
Have nightmares of that.
All my couches wherever I lived had been against a fucking wall.
Yep, same here. Same
Yep.
here. My couch right now I'm sitting on against the wall.
Against the wall. Yeah, I don't like
Bob
having
ain't fighting me like that. Nope.
No, I try to keep all my furniture against something because of that scene specifically. Because again, it's mundane, it's nothing, and like just the littlest electricity is terrifying in Twin Peaks, especially the return. Just simple everyday things are terrifying. And yeah, again, it's not horror, but it might as well be.
Yeah. Blue Velvet, man.
Oh, that might as well be a horror movie, dude.
But it technically really it isn't, but Dennis Hopper is so goddamn terrifying in that.
Yes.
So fucking Dean Stockwell singing In Dreams is terrifying in that weird house with all those weird people.
Fucking terrifying. And again, we could kind of I could kind of giggle and laugh a little bit because now because Dennis Hopper's so over the top. It's kind of like The Shining these days. Like I struggle with The Shining doesn't scare me. I giggle, I laugh at it. It's funny.
I mean, The Shining still has like visuals that are jarring, like the twins and the elevator with blood. It's still like they're interesting and it's well shot, but Nicholson's over the top.
Yes.
Blue Velvet, Hopper's over the top, but it's done in such a, it's not as scary as like around when I first saw it, right? But there's still parts where it's terrifying, like when he's assaulting Isabella Rossellini.
Yes,
that is terrifying.
Yes, 100%. But you look at other movies where they try to recreate like Hopper being crazy, and it just doesn't work.
No.
I love the movie. It's one of my. I actually really enjoy it. It's the Crow Wicked Prayer. Which is the
talk about Speed, because we all know your favorite movie, Speed 2, Cruise Control.
Cruise Control. Yeah, no. I if you haven't seen Wicked Prayer, it is the best Crow movie outside of the first one, because the other ones just took such a terrible dive.
I was going to say it's pretty high bar, Paul, with all those other sequels. How did it weasel its way to the top on that pile of gold?
Dude, okay. So it's got Edward Furlong. It's got David Boreanaz from fucking Angel and Buffy. It's got Tara Reid, Dennis Hopper, Danny Trejo, Tito Ortiz.
That's an all-star
out of control. Oh, dude, it's an all-star cast. It really is. Marcus Chong, who from the Matrix movies, and it's even got a Macy Gray in it. It's a delightful disaster. But in that movie, like, Dennis Hopper plays a Satanist, because of course he does. He plays a satanic priest named El Nino.
Now I'm just thinking of Chris Farley. I'm El Nino.
I'm El Nino. But they try to get him to do like his crazy Hopper thing, and it doesn't work, right? But when you look at Blue Velvet, it works. Like think about the other movies like Speed. Okay, whatever. It's Dennis Hopper. Waterworld, Dennis Hopper. Apocalypse Now, Dennis. I mean, kind of, but like everything else where Dennis Hopper's supposed to be like this crazed whatever because of what happened with Blue Velvet, it's never matched that level of, because it's over the top. I akin it to Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Any other director that would have been humorous, and again, to me now, seeing we're exactly.
But Lynch just
cool.
He worked that magic. He made it work. Like, damn, like he, at that time, you have to remember, nobody wanted to work with Dennis Hopper.
Right.
He had just sobered up.
Yep.
So that was a sober performance by Dennis Hopper. And he swung for the fences. And again, his character in Blue Velvet is so not the again, parts are hilarious, but I think parts are intentionally hilarious. The Heineken.
Yes.
Fuck that shit. Bath Blue. But then he goes in the terrifying where he's, assaulting Isabella.
Yes.
He's breathing and he's just like, fuck. He's like a child with her. Like they have like that really weird sexual dynamic, and you got Kyle MacLachlan in the closet watching. Oh my God. Yeah. It was a perfect. I think Lynch was a perfect director for Hopper. I don't know what happened between them. I know that Lynch was very loyal to his actors, right?
He was.
Always appeared, unless like they didn't get like Elephant Man with Anthony Hopkins didn't like Lynch.
Didn't like the way Lynch directed. Right.
He thought he was like too young and amateur, and then until he saw the final product, and I believe it kind of blew his mind. He's like, I think I was wrong about this guy, but I think by then the damage is done. Fuck, man. I don't know, like maybe Hopper is too much for Lynch or something. I don't know, but like, God, I would love to have seen Hopper in another Lynch movie. Like, imagine him in Lost Highway as like that creepy guy with the video camera on the phone, played by the guy who actually killed his wife.
Yes. Yeah. So,
fuck. I really want to watch Lynch. I'm going to be binging the hell all weekend, Paul. My plan tonight is as Inland Empire, because I'm so depressed by this. Again, like this is probably the celebrity death that's hit me the hardest. We were talking about this a little before we started recording. For you, it was Bowie.
Yep.
Bowie hit me hard, but David Lynch hit me harder. Like, I have more of a connection with Lynch, especially just for how many, basically, whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, I'm looking through his filmography. God, Paul.
There's not a bad movie.
We're going to talk a little bit about, we've already talked a little about each, but let's keep Wild at Heart, Paul.
Yes, Wild at Heart.
Okay. Nicolas Cage.
Right.
Again, unhinged Nicolas Cage.
Unhinged.
Funny. Really funny at the times. I think it's supposed to be funny.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, he's like, the snakeskin jacket is my representation of my individuality.
Jesus Christ.
And like that. Wild at Heart is where I developed a hardcore crush for Laura Dern.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, she was gorgeous in that movie. Yeah.
Willem Dafoe as Bobby Peru.
Yes.
And he actually went to a dentist to get those teeth implants. It's like another set of teeth on top of his teeth.
That's insane that he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had Isabella Rossellini in it again.
Oh, she was hinged in that too. She played.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is again, I think again, you look at Nick Cage, and I want to point this out with his filmography. You had started with Fast Times at Richmond High, right? Then you had Valley Girl. Then you had Rumblefish, The Cotton Club, Peggy Sue Got Married, Moonstruck, which he was somewhat normal in. Then you had Raising Arizona, whatever. But then after that, you had Wild at Heart. And I think that's where like the Nick Cage we know came into play. Was Wild at Heart. 100%. 100%.
Big scene, he just bashes that guy's head in, man.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think this is where we got that Nicolas Cage, like how we got that Dennis Hopper.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And again, he didn't do anything really with Cage afterwards, except for he did a concert. But I don't think Nick Cage was kind of on a different trajectory. And I am looking at something here, and I am looking at an interview with Dennis Hopper where he's talking about David Lynch. And I'm just going to jump ahead here. It's in the Far Out, by the way, and the Far Out magazine in the UK. And perhaps the most memorable aspect of Booth's character is his constant inhalation of a mysterious gas, often treating himself to a drag of the unknown drug during some of the film's most intense moments. On set, Hopper revealed to Interview magazine that Lynch used helium gas for these scenes that make you sound like Donald Duck. with the maverick actor also revealing just how sheltered he thought David Lynch was. Suggesting they use nitric oxide or amyl nitrate instead of helium, Lynch responded to Hopper, "What's that?" Totally unaware of existence of the soft drugs. David was like a Boy Scout, Hopper adds, saying he doesn't take drugs, he meditates, he gives directions like, "Dennis, if you say that, when you say the word," and I'd say, "David, when you the word you're looking for, the word I'm going to say is fuck," and even refusing to swear while making Blue Velvet gave Hopper the impression that the directors differed greatly from the films he'd created, and that he was kind of a Boy Scout. And, one outlining scenario made Hopper question the director. He'd go, "You do this very, very dark scene. You do this very, very dark scene." And then Lynch would be like, "Howdy doody, solid gold."
Yeah. I think in the book, Lynch kind of talks about because it's those scenes were so intense that he needed some levity after.
Yeah.
For the Hopper and Isabella Rossellini, especially those two, because they have such intense scenes.
Yeah. But no, Wild at Heart, like I think you nailed it. Set the tone for '90s movies.
It did. It was like, because you're right. After we had Natural Born Killers, like how it's that warm summer kind of hue. Really was like the '90s really took off with that, like Pulp Fiction, and just about every movie had that weird summer afternoon glow to it.
Yes.
Which was, it was kind of a weird contrast to the '80s, which a lot of movies in the '80s took place at night.
Yep.
Especially if you're talking about like crime dramas and stuff like that. So yeah, it's. Yeah, Wild at Heart kind of kicks off the '90s, and then it's Twin Peaks, and then Firewalk with Me. We've discussed,
yes.
Yeah, Tarantino was not a fan.
Nope. Fuck him. I love
seriously.
Tarantino.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
And then of course Lost Highway we discussed. I love that. Again, the time loop in that, the duality of the different characters. Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette, Balthazar Getty, everyone in that movie was firing on all cylinders. Fucking the car scene with Robert Lagoa.
Robert Loggia?
Yeah, Loggia. Excuse me. Yeah, Loggia. Whatever. However you pronounce it. Yeah.
No, so that one too was like, so I saw that when it came out. I didn't understand it. I was just like in a different headspace. So like a few years ago, like again, like I was jump and dive. Like I just especially I think it was the podcast we're doing. I'm like, I got to watch all the Lynch movies, right?
Yep.
And so I'm like, Criterion the release of Lost Highway on 4K, and I'm like, man, I really just, I'm like, I have like all, I'm completing my collection. I'm like, I remember just like not getting it, and I watched it, and I was just like, holy fuck, I was completely wrong about this movie.
Right. Right. It's so good.
It just went over my head at the time I saw it. I think I don't know what I was expecting out of it. Yeah, but that I watched it a few years ago. I was just like, fuck, this movie's brilliant, and it's just it is the time loop. The end of the movie is the beginning. The end of the movie leads us right up to the opening scene. Like he's playing with time, and again, people. I just saw somebody posted the movie poster that they put out for that, and the giant review at the top said 2 thumbs down by Siskel and Ebert, and the tag for Lost Highway. 2 reasons to actually see this movie.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. Yeah, it was not well liked. it was not well liked at all. And it didn't do well. I think it only did like 4 million in the box office.
It's just, again, his movies are not meant to be box office hits. Like,
no,
I think he fluked with, Blue Velvet was kind of a fluke. I think that was just like it hit at the right time with the right audience. Same with Elephant Man was so straightforward. Eraserhead was never a hit, but
no,
my God, that movie, that's another comfort movie. If I'm like sick,
that's fucked up.
If I have the flu, I watch Eraserhead. And I've told people this, and they look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm like, it's comforting because it's just like, it's this whole, he describes how he wanted to make movies as moving paintings. And that's what Eraserhead is. It's one giant moving painting.
Yeah. And you see a lot of that back. You see that harken back in The Return.
Yes. Yeah. The Return. So The Return, as we discussed, is basically him looking back at his career, and you see everything he had done in film up to even the Straight Story, and I think he at one point said of all his movies that might be included in the Twin Peaks world, I think he said Lost Highway is the only one he would consider being in the world of Twin Peaks.
Correct.
Which I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. I don't know if he was just fucking with people. It kind of makes sense, but
no, I think it does, because you kind of look at it, because again, you had the Bill Pullman, the Balthazar Getty, and I can see that being where it's not actually another person, it's one of the lodge entities.
And the electricity.
And the electricity and things like that. Yeah.
Electricity is a big thing in Mulholland Drive. So, yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, I think
through an electrical storm, Pullman becomes Balthazar.
Exactly. Yeah. So I can see where Lynch could make that, say like, yeah, it could. But again, it's a stretch. But I think that's where you have it at, because again of the duality and the electricity and that type of thing. So I mean, I find that super interesting. What I also found really interesting was it wasn't until like when we were doing the podcast that he actually based Lost Highway off of part of it being the OJ murder.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently it was more like he was inspired by the case, and then OJ being able to just lead his life afterwards. Like that blew David Lynch's mind.
Well, it's damn shame OJ never found that killer before he died, Paul.
Man, I think he was close on the case.
Yeah, he got close, but
he got close. He's on the same golf course with the guy a couple of times, I think.
But yeah, Lost Highway is, and Lost Highway kind of is another one of those things from Lynch where that kind of non-linear he really leans into with Mulholland Drive. And so let's talk. You haven't seen Straight Story, Paul? I suggest if you have Disney Plus, it's on there.
I do have Disney Plus because I got the Hulu Disney something else pack. Yeah,
it's on there. So
awesome. I will have to watch. I highly
suggest Sissy Spacek. It's really a beautiful. It's rated G.
Okay.
It's just this guy. His brother's dying, and he gets on his little tractor, and he's driving because he doesn't have a license, so he has to drive his tractor. And it's based on a true story. And it's just a beautiful. It's just it's Lynch. You can tell it's a Lynch movie because he does hold scenes a little uncomfortably long, but he does it in a way that's not jarring. It's almost like the opposite, where it kind of feels a little more warm. It's bizarre. It's hard for me to explain. If you once you see it, just let me know, because I think you'll get what I'm saying. He's still doing it, but it's just. I don't know. You kind of feel more of a connection with the characters and their relationships. It's good.
Got it. Okay. Now I definitely watch it.
Yeah. Now we go to Mulholland Drive.
Yep. Which is
fucking masterpiece. Let's just say it's the reason it's voted the best movie of the 2000s.
It And again, it didn't get. What sucks is none of his movies got the due at the time.
No.
And yes, Mulholland Drive should be again a horror. It should be described as a horror film because it is a straight up shit show.
Alone. The winky scene alone.
Right. Right.
And then, it's such an indictment too of Hollywood, right?
Oh, isn't it?
It's a damning indictment. It's also like how Hollywood treats and throws away women.
Mm-hmm. And it's about these people that go to Hollywood and they live in this completely alternate universe in their head than what they ever get. And yeah. Yeah.
There's like two different realities going on. It's so beautiful, beautifully shot. That scene in the theater.
Yes.
Woman singing, Rebecca Del Rio. Yes, that's Rebecca Del Rio. She does a song on the return too.
Yes, she does.
I
do want to say this movie also fortified my mental love affair with Naomi Watts.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Naomi Watts is just fucking up. Everybody in that movie. Justin Theroux. Who's the other woman? She's really good.
Laura Herring.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just again, it's such a good cast, and it's a weird movie, but it's probably I would consider more straightforward than Lost Highway.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's far more straightforward because what's happening. At first you're a little what, but then once you understand that everything was going on in Naomi's head, it's it's a little more straightforward than that. And again, it touches on so many. And what's interesting is that the Cans absolutely love Lynch. He's gotten so many nominations and shit like that. And it was but it's always just come later. Like the movie didn't do well in the box office. And it should have. You talk about these people, with later, they're like, oh my God, yeah. And it's why didn't you guys fucking go? It had just again, a lot of the Lynch people, the Arm is in it as Mr. Roke. You had what was the other one that was in that? Who's also, I think, Billy Ray. Billy Ray Cyrus was in.
Yeah, he's the pool guy.
He's the pool guy, and I believe, wasn't he in The Return as a cameo?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought he was.
I'm not sure.
Okay, and then Robert Forster.
Robert Forster's,
love Robert Forster. Fucking Angelo is a character in the movie.
Yeah, he's one of the Hollywood creeps, I believe.
Yep. No, it was such a and when it switches and you just see what a shit show Naomi's life really is. Yeah. Now my understanding was it was originally he even kept it open because he wanted it. He was thinking about making it a television series.
Originally it was going to be a television series. He got hired to do a 2-hour pilot. I think it was CBS or ABC. They saw what he was doing, nope. And so Studio Canal gave him $7 million to finish it and make it a feature film.
Got it.
Something like that. Yeah.
Dude, I would have watched the hell out of this show.
Well, the original premise of the show from Mulholland Drive was Audrey Horne goes to Hollywood.
Right. Yes, it was supposed to link in with Audrey.
Yeah. That petered out it. So for whatever reason.
Well, and I again, I think there also was a issue between him and Sherilyn Fenn as well. If I remember correctly, she kind of wanted more with Audrey, and I think she was kind of pissed at that whole oh, God damn it. I should remember these names here, but Cooper and fuck.
Or Audrey?
No, it was the dating.
Annie and Cooper. Yeah.
No, not Annie and Cooper, but in real life, behind the scenes, Kyle MacLachlan was dating Lara Flynn Boyle. And there was thoughts that like Lara Flynn Boyle was in Kyle MacLachlan's ear and wanted to have more screen time of the two of them together and not him and Audrey, which was where the show was going.
Yeah.
And I think Cheryl and Finn kind of held a grudge against the three of them, Lynch, Boyle, and MacLachlan, for kind of snuffing, like pushing her character off to be with Billy goddamn Zane.
That's John Justice Wheeler, buddy.
John Justice Wheeler.
The most hilarious name that I'll never forget from Twin Peaks, John Justice Wheeler, because it's such a stupid name.
It is. It's a stupid name for a stupid character. And I mean, at the time, I really think that Mark and Lynch, we know this, were in fuck it mode. They absolutely were. They were. I mean, Lynch was downright irate. And what's funny is he's like, I'll never do TV again. And what does he end up doing? He tries to do a bunch of TV, and they're like, fuck off. And then what happens? Like, the best thing he does is an 8-hour TV movie. Dude, fucking what?
Oh, yeah. No, Cheryl and Finn has a lot of issues. Her holding grudges is just, I take it with a grain of salt. I used to follow her on Twitter. She's just off the deep end, so.
Unfortunately, yeah. And, I mean, I've seen some of her earlier works, like Meridian and shit that she did with Full Moon Features and some of the other stuff. And she did more erotic, titty TNA movies when she was younger. But yeah, no, I believe that there was Twin Peaks should have been her taking off point, and instead I think it and she blamed, I think, the fact that for whatever reason Audrey had a diminished role in that second season. I think she really blames that, and it had more to do with how her behavior was on set than anything. So yeah, I think that she yeah, I mean, she dated, I didn't know this, she dated Prince for a while?
Doesn't surprise me.
Fucking A.
She dated Johnny Depp too for a while. I know that.
Yeah, she dated Johnny Depp for a little while. Yeah, so it's just yeah. Anyways, I would have loved to see Mulholland Drive as a TV show, but I love it as a movie as well. And
then this one last Inland Empire.
Inland Empire, Joe.
Saw that for the first time last year. That was another one like Eraserhead. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm prepared. I enjoy every minute of that movie. It's 3 hours of dream logic, and I can't get enough of it.
Here's the thing.
It's unhinged.
That's I was going to say, you're never prepared. You're never prepared for it. Okay? No, you're not. I don't care how much preparing you think you have. You're not.
He is so unhinged, so insane, and I love everything about it.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
It is. Ask me what it's about, and I just go to the tagline: "A woman in trouble."
Yeah,
that's the movie.
That's the movie. I
don't know what else to describe it to you, pal.
Yeah, it's just it's about a woman on a cursed movie, and it is cursed, and everything that can go wrong in every way possible for her goes wrong, and that's all you need to know. Yeah. Just watch the fucking movie. Yeah,
that's the through line, and the rest of it's dream logic and.
Mm-hmm. And it's there's a lot going on because there's all these different plot lines, and if you're not paying attention, you're not. It's a movie that you have to dedicate. You got to put the phone down. You got to just sit and watch because there's so much going on, and it's like Watchmen and the Black Freighter. There's a lot of that going on in it, where what is happening here is kind of mirroring what's going on here, And
it's mirroring a lot what's going on in the movie they're making.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. But again, it's for me, it's the ride of it. It's 3 hours of surreal dream logic. I can sit and watch it and follow the plot. I can also sit and watch it and just take it in, Paul. Like, just not even think about it, just as a meditation type movie.
Mm-hmm. A movie that I saw recently, that I kind of think took a lot of inspiration from this in a different way, but it's kind of the same deal, was Longlegs. Did you watch Longlegs?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Yeah, it's very Lynchian, and I feel like there's some nods from Inland Empire in it, in terms of, if you're paying attention, you're going to see things in the background and things that are going on, but if you're not going to see those things. And it's really interesting. Like, yeah, if the return was pure unadulterated Lynch on heroin, this is just freebase. This is Lynch freebase. This is freebasing Lynch. It's the best way I can describe it.
Oh my God. But it's so great. And I love the story, like how he was campaigning for Laura Dern for the Academy Award. So he's like out in LA, sitting out in front of a building with a cow.
I didn't know this story.
Yeah, dude. He's trying to raise awareness because he didn't have the money to campaign for the Academy and stuff. So yeah, we went viral in like 2006, 2007. And like all these people had these photos of Lynch sitting outside on a lawn chair with a cow. Oh
my God.
Hey, got people talking.
Fuck yeah, got people talking. Lynch, you beautiful, crazy bastard. Oh my God. And this sucks because you and I were talking about the unfinished project, Rocket, was that it?
Ronnie Rocket.
Ronnie Rocket.
Yeah, he tried so hard to get that made so many times, and it's, from what I read in that Room to Dream biography, it's almost sounds, it'd be tough to film based on what little I kind of gathered from it.
Yeah,
it almost would work better as animated instead of live action, just because of how kind of surreal it is. But I mean, yeah.
So my understanding,
unproduced ideas. He had quite a few scripts.
He did. He had quite a few scripts. My understanding of Ronnie Rocket, after you told me about it, was actually he wanted to do it after Elephant Man, or Eraserhead. Yeah, he wanted to do it after Eraserhead, and everyone said no. And then when he did Twin Peaks, he thought Michael J. Anderson was going to be the perfect person for it. Whoops. That dude went off the rail. Yeah, there's a whole thing to it. Wasn't there a leaked script, Joe?
Probably. Yeah, I think there's been a couple of because he was shopping it around after Eraserhead became such a cult hit, right? That put him on the map. That script is out there. I'm sure we could find it. It's probably not that hard to find. The other scripts, I think I remember we were talking during the Twin Peaks, like he had a script about had like a crime, something to do with North Dakota, which we thought was funny.
Oh, Northwest Passage.
Yeah, Northwest Passage originally was still going to take place in North Dakota.
Yep.
But yeah, he had all sorts of and then the past few years, right when COVID happened, he was going to do that thing with Netflix.
Yes, the cartoon for Netflix.
Yeah, nobody knows if it was a cartoon because there had.
Yeah, it was speculated it was going to be a cartoon, but yes.
But people thought it was going to be live action, and then it was registered under, I think, the company that did his production company that deals with Twin Peaks. So everybody's like, Mark Frost is like, I don't know what this is, so don't ask me.
Yeah, there was a lot of thoughts that it was going to be a Twin Peaks follow-up, that it was going to be all these different things, but either way, Netflix turned it down, which I just, what? Okay, when David Lynch comes to you with a project, you say yes.
Yeah.
yeah, it's and then I want to get into a few of the other things too, because like musically, Lynch was really, really out there.
Yeah.
His first album, studio album, was called Blue Bob in 2001. And it is weird as fuck. It's I mean, they describe it as industrial blues. And he worked on it with John Neff, and who was an audio engineer. I didn't know much about Lynch's music until the Dark Night of the Soul, really. Well, I mean, I knew Lost Highway, but I just assumed that was him being David Lynch and being weird. I didn't realize he was doing all this music. But that he has a song on Dark Night of the Soul, which is just beautiful. And that's when I was like, what the fuck? Like, why isn't this guy doing more music? And that's when I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah. No, my favorite what he's done musically is Thought Gang, which is him and Angelo Badalamenti.
Mm-hmm.
That's on my list of albums that we'll review at some point, because it's like industrial jazz. It's fucking crazy.
Yes, it's and crazy. I've heard a few things off of that. Frank 2000, which is I think like the 17-minute song. Yep. Yeah, I knew about that one. Christabel. Okay, I think that was Cellophane Memories.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. It's not an easy listen.
No, it's not. And Christabel is again, an acquired taste musically. Mm-hmm. She's a very unusual person. I find her harder to get into than as a from other Lynch muse, Julia Cruz.
Yeah,
Julia Cruz should have had a much better music career than she did. She had just one of those very unique voices, and it's just the style that she had, that swing jazz, that slow, it was really good. Dream pop. And I sometimes feel with Christabel that some of it's manufactured. Whereas with like Julie Cruz, like I felt like that was her gig, like that was her thing. I don't know. Christabel, I struggle with the authenticity, and maybe that's just me not understanding, but that's my place.
Yeah, I just don't know. I haven't heard enough of hers to like. I listened to that, Cellophane Memories, and that was a tough listen to.
It's hard. It's a tough listen. It's very challenging. It's a challenging album.
Yeah.
Of course, people gave it, a 7 and an 8 and a 9, and it's like, okay, I see you.
Yeah, we see, I know what you're doing, and I don't like it.
Right. I see what you're doing, and I don't like it. Some of the music videos and shit that he did.
Wicked Game is probably his most famous music video.
Yeah, Wicked Games, which was that video was everywhere.
Yeah, that song was everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, and fuck. Okay, first of all, it's a banger of a song, and that is, truth be told, a very sexy music video. Yeah. Yeah. That, again, Lynch changed the fucking game for a lot of things. I didn't know this. He had a guest appearance. He did several guest appearances on the Cleveland show.
Yeah, he was the bartender, Gus.
Yeah, Gus the bartender. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he also was on Family Guy. He played David Lynch on Family Guy every now and then.
That's amazing.
He's like, I think it's one he appears like as like a Santa Claus type of thing. I'll share the clip. It's just hilarious. He's like, "Did you leave out a plate of hot coffee for me?" "No." "Next time I show up, leave out a plate of hot coffee for me."
Holy shit, I love it. Oh my God, that's amazing. No, I hadn't seen that. No. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean the dude was just everywhere. I know he's written a couple of books. Like you said, he had Room to Dream. He did Catching the Big Fish, Meditation, Consciousness, and Creativity, where he talks kind of about his deal of transcendental meditation. I believe he actually put out a transcendental meditation or did something with that. He did paintings and pieces. That, I mean, that whole Dark Night of the Soul, when you think about it, that was supposed to be a music movie, music, book, and art show, art expo all at once. And like, that's pretty goddamn ambitious. And then of course, all the problems that came with it really sucked. Yeah, I just, he was a true auteur and genius. I know genius gets thrown around a lot, but the dude really was. He was always ahead of his time. I mean, how often do people get their own term? Lynchian.
Yeah, not very often. And yeah, his influence is not. I'm seeing these new movies, Paul, that are very Lynchian now. Like his influences. So, like we've discussed a little bit before. I saw the TV Glow, very Lynchian.
Yes, I still have to watch that.
The Lighthouse by Robert Eggers.
Very Lynchian.
Very Lynchian. Oh my God! Like we're seeing this new generation of filmmakers who I feel like really were inspired. I watched The Substance with Demi Moore.
Okay.
That's Kubrick / Cronenberg / Lynch. That was a messed up movie.
I need to see that because I love all three of those. Cronenberg, I think, is another one of those. Dude, Videodrome changed my life. Watching Videodrome as well. Like that fucked me up. But yeah, yes, I'm seeing a lot more Lynchian movies.
We're seeing it he changed television.
Yes, he did. Oh,
like we wouldn't have Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, like all these critically acclaimed TV. Like he brought the film aesthetic to television before anybody else was doing it.
And the other thing with it is as well as what you wouldn't see, like going on with that is there's even more things just like regular things in terms of not a lot of prior to Lynch, not a lot of actual movie directors and things like that were bothered with television. And he kind of was like, I know it kind of came about as like, maybe that's all he could do, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you started to see people trying to do that more. Like Spielberg started doing some things and like Amazing Stories and things like that. And I just think there's even more with the fact of television kind of showing that you could do these things that you couldn't do prior. Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like music. We talked about it. There's pre-OK Computer and there's post-OK Computer.
Yeah.
There's pre-Lynch television and there's post-Lynch television.
There's pre-Twin Peaks. There's post-Twin Peaks.
Yes.
It was the game changer. It really, True Detective.
Yes.
So that first season, basically Twin Peaks knockoff. But it's so well done. It's Fargo, the Fargo series.
100% the Fargo series, Joe. Yes. Now, there's a list of movies here, and I'm going to stay away from ones that are pre-Lynch because there is a couple. But they're saying there's a movie called there's a Lynchian recommendation movies. And see if Tenso, the Iron Man, Jacob's Ladder, Pi.
What's that? I can see Jacob's Ladder. I can see Pi.
Yep. Limbo. I haven't seen that one. Eyes Wide Shut. Well, that's Kubrick. But yes.
Kubrick had, like, one of his favorite movies was Eraserhead.
Oh, shocker.
Yeah.
Donnie Darko.
Yep.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yep.
Um,
Paul Thomas Anderson. Shocker.
yeah. The Machinist.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a couple of movies here I haven't seen. Black Swan.
Yep. Any Darren Aronofsky movie.
Right.
He did Pie. He did Black Swan. Mother, I would say, is Lynchian. Requiem for a
Mother
Time is very Lynchian.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. No, that's super Lynchian. 100%. I'll send you this list, Joe, and because I'm sure you've seen some of these movies that I haven't. But yeah, there is a whole, like, Mandy. People are saying Mandy is Lynchian.
Yep, Mandy's very Lynchian.
Yes, and I just, again,
Mandy's David Lynch meets Clive Barker.
Oh, 100%, dude, 100%. Yeah, there's just so much out there that, and again, I think you're right. I think, and we are seeing more of it because Lynch was truthfully way ahead of his time. I know you have your issues with Zappa and things like that, but I'm starting to see Zappa starting to kind of come through musically in a lot of people and starting to become a little bit more with the world beat and kind of some of the even some of the pop music, like the 1975 you listen to. That kind of pop would not fucking exist 10 years ago. It's too avant-garde for pop, but it's out there as a pop thing. I think Olivia Rodrigo would not have fared well in the early 2000s with her style of pop.
Yeah, that was left field too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that there's just so much out there, and this, yeah, I mean, believe me, I'm not gonna lie. I was crying when Lynch died. When you messaged me today that Lynch had died. And then I had a couple other friends kind of message me that were fans. And I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's something, he's always been somewhat of an influence, and
very singular type of person. There's not many David Lynch. There's no other David Lynch out there.
No.
One of the most unique people, unique mind. His approach to art, everything is so. It's hard to compare him to anybody else because, again, there's a reason we have we can compare other people to Lynch, but it's hard to compare Lynch to other people.
Yes, Lynch, again. When I put him, Kubrick and Cronenberg kind of on the same. Like, those three are like the Mount Rushmore to me. Like, those three were in a world class. Like, you had Steven Spielberg and
Scorsese and
yeah,
and they're all great. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But when you're talking about like such a unique approach visually to movies,
yep.
I mean, Cronenberg, Kubrick, and Lynch are just. I mean, they're just in a league of their own. Like, I love Tarantino, but like visual style is not like in the realm of David Lynch. David Lynch was so unique how his movies looked and how they sounded.
Yes.
The sound in his movies are so specific. That's an aspect I don't think a lot of filmmakers even think about. And he was obsessed with sound.
Yeah. I mean, look, you look at Naked Lunch is so Lynch. I mean, and that's what I mean by that kind of that thing, but yeah, no, there won't be another. Like I said, I kind of put these people, some directors, in circles, right? Like, you have Spielberg, you have James Cameron, and you have J.J. Abrams. Those are kind of like that group. But like Cronenberg,
the technical guys who get in the weeds with the effects.
Yep, exactly. Where Lynch, Cronenberg, and Kubrick were, how can I do it with the camera, not the effects? How can I do it with the sound, not the like? Mm-hmm. You can't get more practical. I mean, you look at the quote special effects in The Return.
Yeah,
they're downright comical. But for whatever fucking reason, they work well in that setting.
Exactly. We discussed that too. It's just any other director did that wouldn't make sense. With David Lynch, you're like, yep,
100%. So yeah, I just, Joe, I said a lot, but I want you to also kind of give your just feelings unadulterated without me interrupting.
Oh yeah, it's again, like I said, he's such a unique. His movies speak to me. Like it's just his art speaks to me. It draws me in. And this was a tough one. He influenced me as a little kid when I was like drawing and stuff, and I saw Twin Peaks, and that kind of flipped a switch in my head. It's like, oh, you can do weird shit, right? And that's I've been fucked ever since, Paul. I've been fucked. David Lynch just screwed my world up all sorts. But yeah, I'm gonna miss it. It's sad knowing that we're not going to get another thing from David Lynch. We get art, music, film, short film. Yeah. It sucks, but
it does. Cause I kind of thought he had one more thing in him.
I did too, but once I heard he had the emphysema and he was on oxygen, I kind of figured this was going to be coming sooner than later.
Yeah.
And I think that's our chat on David Keith Lynch.
Rest in peace, you glorious bastard.
Rest in peace, you beautiful bitch.
beautiful bitch.
So just so people know, we're gonna upload this as soon as we can.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this.
We're working on getting the episodes out. There's gonna be a few missing. That's because Paul put them in the back of his 1977 Pontiac Ventura, and they got stolen.
Thanks for covering me on that one. No, as a matter of fact, as soon as we're done here, I'm not even gonna put the intro music and the other thing on. I'm just gonna post it right away to the SoundCloud, and just throw it up on YouTube.
Perfect. Yeah.
Again,
we'll have episodes coming. Again, Paul left those in a box in his 1977 Pontiac Ventura. It got stolen. I don't know why. Paul, why are you still driving a 77 Pontiac Ventura?
Well, sir, I should let you know for a couple of reasons. First of all,
how dare you?
Yeah. First of all, it's named after the best governor there of Minnesota.
Oh yeah, the Minnesota. I drive the 77 Pontiac Ventura down in the Baja.
Me and the wife, we sit there. Me and Terry, we just ride the Ventura down the Baja.
Oh my God.
But yes, that car was in quite a bit of Lynch's shit, wasn't it?
I don't know, man. It's your car.
It's my car. It's my car.
Yeah. I don't know why you still have it.
Well, man, it's a classic, man. But yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna put this thing up. Besides, Snake and Bobby, I think, wrote in that, didn't they?
You don't call him Snake, Paul.
I love the fact that they dropped that. I love it so much.
It is dancing guy, Paul, the guy dancing in the hall.
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
Justice for Dancing Guy.
Justice for Dancing Guy. You know, what's so interesting to me is when you watch the pilot and then you watch like the second episode, just how much time it took for it to get picked up.
Yeah,
It's very noticeable.
Longer hair.
Yes, and they're all older. Holy fuck. Yeah. Yeah. So funny to me.
They did bring a dancing guy, which is the real crime.
Dude, there's so much. Like, I want justice for Johnny, all right? I think the last time we see him was at the funeral, I think.
We saw him in The Return. He got
yeah.
Audrey's kid.
That's right. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Justice for Johnny.
Justice for Johnny Horn.
Yeah, and why did John Justice Wheeler come in and save the day in the Return?
John Justice Wheeler.
John
Justice on that plane and flew away, you know.
Yeah, well,
he could way back to his home planet like Gucci.
His home planet. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, secretly, you know, I mean, we all know the truth. He was off being the Phantom. You know, that's what was really going on. He had a secret crime fighting life.
I thought he was like Demon in Demon Knight.
Dude, that's another. That's
a movie.
It's such a disaster. It's so great. I love Demon Knight, and it's the whole corruption of like oh God.
I wish Tales from the Crypt made more than 2 movies, because I do unapologetically love Demon Knight and what's that? The vampire one.
Bordello of Blood.
Bordello
very
of
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, Dick Miller, brilliant in Demon Knight. Again, Billy Zane, William Sadler, C.C. Pounder. God damn, dude. Fucking, it was such a great, and you know, of course, Jada Pinkett, whatever. That gave us Jada Pinkett. I think that was like her big breakthrough. Fuck, whatever. But still, I still love it. Bordello of Blood, I mean, yes, because you had Dennis Miller chewing up every fucking scene. Oh my God. And I think that was about the last time that we saw Corey Feldman in anything mainstream.
No, we saw him on the Today Show. Paul reviewed that album.
We haven't
dropped that.
We haven't dropped that yet, dude. I know.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Dude, that was one of the ones that was stolen out of your 1977 Pontiac Ventura.
God, I hope not. I really hope not. I hope that one's out there, because that was a genius one. God, yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this one up right away on the SoundCloud. Then I'll just quickly convert it to a video and get it posted tonight here.
Perfecto.
All right, my friend. Well, take it easy. And this has just been our tribute and discussion, really. Not even tribute, but just discussing the life of and our love of David Lynch. And you know, if you guys did, if there's anything that we missed or something that you know, or some kind of like odd story that we don't know, or like what was the movie or what was the thing that Lynch did that really got to you, because I know there's a group of us Lynch fans. There is.
Yeah, we exist. There's dozens of us, literally dozens.
There's dozens of us, god damn it. Yeah, and you know what? And if you guys come at me saying Dune was awful, get fucked. It was amazing.
Hey man, I have people come after me because I love Inland Empire. That's because that's my favorite Lynch movie. After I saw it, people are like, really? And I'm like, I get it's not for everybody. All right,
no,
I get that, but it just speaks to me on a weird level, and I can't explain it, and I don't want to explain it.
You don't have to explain it, because it's great. I get it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
Watching it right after this review, Paul.
Good for you, as you absolutely should tonight. I'm gonna figure out which one I'm gonna sit down and watch, and god damn it. Anyways, all right.
Yep.
All right. Well, all right, Joe. Well, I'm gonna get going on this, and again, we'll be around next week.
What the hell?
Well, Paul, this is covered. We have tons of episodes.
Yes, we have tons of episodes
So we're not coming back next week with whatever you said.
Yes, that's true. Whatever we said, that's right. That's right.
You can get your shit together, Paul.
I'll bleep that out.
What the hell?
What the hell? I'm gonna find a Lynch quote and just put it right over that.
Yeah. He says, "What the hell?" in the return. What the hell? Fix your hearts or die, Paul.
Hearts or die. Oh my God! Yeah, I'm gonna find a audio clip and of him in there and just run with that. So, all right, sir. Yes, we'll be back. You and I will be back to do another episode next week.
Yep.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Oof. Stop recording.